Hey, it's me, Jimmy D, and I'm here to tell you why I love Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is the newest MCU movie to come out until Endgame, and with it, there's been a lot of controversy. There's been a lot of different types of reviews, and I know there's been controversy, but I'm going to take that aside because I don't really do politics on the channel. Now, with the movie, is Captain Marvel a great movie? It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Is it poor and boring and all like a lot of people are saying? To me, no. Personally, for the past 3 years, I have been reading all these different Captain Marvel comics. I have been following along with the character. When I look at the movie and I look at the comics, they're pretty fucking close. Her characterization, powers, and all that, once she realized who she is and all, that's Captain Marvel. That is fully Captain Marvel. The cat, everyone loves the cat Goose. A little mad that they didn't name it Chewie out of the comics because Disney does own Star Wars, but it's still great. Now, to why I love Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, a lot of people argue that it is a Phase 1 movie. It feels like a Phase 1 movie. What's wrong with that? We have not had a classic origin story movie in a long time. And many people might argue Black Panther. Well, Black Panther was technically introduced in Civil War. Captain Marvel, this is her origin movie. It feels like an origin movie, and that's kind of what I like about it. It's while people are like, it's not different enough. It's different compared to everything else. And I really do enjoy it. The comedy, great. It has a great soundtrack. It's not as amazing as Guardians 1, but the 90s had great music, but it wasn't the 80s. And that's one thing. Also about this movie that's really pulling for it that I really love is the 90s aspect. You do get to see Nick Fury with two eyes. You get to see him before he has all the different trust issues. And honestly, I like it. Captain Marvel and Nick Fury have some of the best chemistry I've seen in a long time. That's honestly one thing I argue with on the Flash TV show, is because I didn't feel like Barry and Iris had that much chemistry. Their actors just don't portray it. While while Samuel Jackson and Brie Larson, they show chemistry instantly. Like I said, back to the '90s part. The '90s nods are great. The fact that she lands in a blockbuster, and then she has to go to a Radio Shack. I remember going to Radio Shack. There was a Radio Shack in my small town, and my small town only has a McDonald's. Like, we had Radio Shack. That's how big Radio Shack was, and that's it. I mean, I'm glad they nodded to it. While it's 1995, they do kind of step back from that a bit. They have their nods every so often, but they don't rely heavily on it, and they don't need to. They are filling in gaps in the timeline that we really didn't know about. We knew what happened in the 80s. We knew what happened early on with S.H.I.E.L.D. with Captain America First Avenger. And honestly, it's a great addition to the MCU, this movie. Captain Marvel has a lot of great fight scenes. While they're not outlandish and they don't stand out as much, the fight scene where she is on the Skrull ship, while she's on the Skrull ship, and she's fighting with the handcuffs on, and she's she yells back at the Skrulls, and she has to fight this whole gang just to knock off the handcuffs. That is fantastic. That is something she would do in the comics, and it felt great to see that portrayed. And then the fight with on the subway, the Stan Lee cameo, all that, it really felt awesome. I enjoyed this movie. Recently, I finished Kingdom Hearts 3, and I kind of compare it to that. While Kingdom Hearts 3 is not the best video game, I enjoyed every second of it. I had fun in it, and that's what really pulled it. It was the most fun I've had in a video game in a long time, and that's the same with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel might not be the best movie of all time, but I had fun watching it. I enjoyed every second of it, and that's what pulls it up. We'll be doing a ranking video of all the Marvel movies soon, and honestly, Captain Marvel right now is second, and that is probably going to get a lot of hate in the comments for that, but I don't care. I enjoy watching it. Here's the thing: while Thor Ragnarok, all these movies that recently come out, they're fantastic, and they're up there on my list. I just don't rewatch them. I could rewatch Captain Marvel though. I get bored when I would try to rewatch the Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, stuff like that, because after the first showing, and while the first showing is great, after that it's just nothing pulls me in. My favorite MCU movie is Captain America: Winter Soldier, and I kind of would like to compare Captain Marvel 1 to Captain Marvel 1 to Captain America 1, the first Avenger, because they sort of feel the same way. While they're not the best movies, your character is developing in it. And at the end of Captain Marvel, she is miles ahead of where she was when she started the movie, and that's great. I have a English degree. Character development is a huge thing, and to show this character development grow, because she has amnesia. So but you're still able to see this gradual change in her as time progresses. Like when the movie first starts, if she would come to Earth with that personality instantly, interact with her best friend before she interacted with Fury, she wouldn't have been as nice. She wouldn't have been as close, because she doesn't remember who she is, but two, she hasn't involved with Nick Fury. All that is very important to her character development. That's why at the end credit scene, when in present day, when the pager cuts off, and Black Widow turns around and there's Captain Marvel standing there and instantly says, "Where's Fury?" And she's concerned. You can hear the concern in her voice. That shows true character development. And like I said, Captain Marvel is not the best movie, but it is a fun, entertaining period movie that you could watch on its own. You don't have to watch 17, 18 other movies just to be able to figure out what's going on. That's what I love about this movie. Sometimes I don't want my brain to be trying to think about 50 movies back and trying to connect all these dots and have to know that in order to enjoy the movie. This is great as it is, and that's really why I love Captain Marvel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have tons of other videos involving superheroes, DC, Marvel on the channel. Check those out. And like always, I will see you in the next one. Later.